Yeah.
My hand's broken. My hand's broken, guys. Hold on. Nope, still broken. What's going on? Blame me? No! Ah! Mother.
Knew that was pulled out.
Who pulled that name?
Oh shit.
Fucking.
Alright, everyone's here now. We can do actual practice.
Alright, stop fucking around.
Oh, Hookage is here as well.
Wait.
Sweet.
Are we killing ourselves?
Hello, Hookage.
Somebody's killing me.
Man, that's how training goes.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
we
the
killed
Grey
ourselves.
Hokage
Alright,
is here.
everyone come back. Let's do this.
Are you like the... God, you'd be like the, what, the 7th, 8th
Oh.
Hokage?
Alright.
I find my onward. At the top of my list after spending a week with the cousins.
Get up.
Are we still in Discord or are we in game?
If you guys can't, I'm gonna run in Discord. You guys can mute your Discords just because, like, if I run away from you, it's hard to hear.
Alright.
I'm gonna mute all y'all so I can hear him. Hold on. Let me do this pin thing. Buttons.
Get out of my play space, dog. Yeah, get on the couch. Jump.
Alright, a couple people are still down. Do you want to come in? Oh, Chipnip's here. You guys want to come back into the game?
Oh.
Hold on, let's see.
Oh!
Hey, Pendumic and Hookah, do you want to jump into the game, buddies?
How do I mute people?
We're just gonna run around on the level. Alrighty, we got everyone here except for Tripnip, but he's played this game enough to have some callouts. So, we are going to run around and do some callouts. So, instead of me just screaming at you guys and telling you what the callouts are, can anyone tell me what this callout is?
That's a building with windows.
It's a left nut.
He's right. Center bungalow. You get a point. High five. Yay.
Yeah.
Center
And
bungalow.
then, so there's 3 types of buildings in this game, or in this stupid level, because it couldn't do any modeling. This is a bungalow. It's got 2 rooms. It's got a room in the front here, and then a room with the steps up here. You guys have probably all gone in these rooms, but you know, it's just like 2 sides. That's one of them. They're only 1 story. They're pretty boring. So that's a bungalow. And so if anyone can figure out what this bungalow is called, you get a high five.
North bungalow.
I think that's right. That sounds right.
If that's center, then what's...
Yeah.
I was gonna call that APC North. Oh, it is North.
Yeah, so this is North Bungalow. That's Center Bungalow. There's no South Bungalow, because whatever. That thing over there, anyone know what that is?
Church.
Yeah, what church is it?
South Church. No.
North Church.
North Church. Shut up. Shut up.
Church.
Who said that? That's just
Can all of you guys, except for me,
Small
mute your
church. Small-
Discord?
small church.
Oh my God.
Little church. Old church.
That's the East. That is the East Church. So the best way to orient yourself on this level is you look at that building over there. Oh, shoot it. What building is that?
North thing. So
that one?
Hotel. Hotel. That's a hotel.
Yeah.
I'm dropping out of Discord.
That's the North Hotel. And that's the best way to orient yourself, because the North Hotel is there, and there's...
Which is hotel? That is hotel or that's hotel? Is that one? That one. So I was gonna
that's
say
North
that's
Hotel.
not hotel. That is hotel. Yeah.
Yeah, so
And then
North
that's
Hotel.
center hotel.
You got it. So then the Center Hotel is over there. And so the best way to orient yourself is that's north, and then all of the side with a lot of shit on it is west, and then east is over here. So that's East Church. And then those are East Stables. That's Crater Bungalow. That's East Bungalow. This is North Bungalow, because there's no other bungalow that's more north of it. So if we can say, what is this one?
Which one?
That's a crater bungalow, right? Northeast.
Yeah, you're right,
bungalow.
Crater Bungalow. Awesome.
Oh.
And so then this is East Church. There's another church over there. West
Oh, my
Church right
high
over
five.
there. Yeah, bad. There's another church right over there. And now we're going on to this area, which is pretty key because, and I'm assuming you guys can all still hear me, this is a fairly common approach on this level, and this is a fairly obvious,
Red truck.
this is a fairly obvious thing. What do you guys call this?
Red truck?
Red truck.
Red truck.
Perfect.
Sparrows!
You got it. Sparrow's here. Yay. So, and then because of red truck,
Camp the objective building.
that's a good name for it, but that's actually white car building.
White car building.
Because there's a white car down there.
And then
Other names
that's
for that?
North Tower.
Other names for that is North Guard because it's guarding the north approach. But I like to call it white car because there's north and south guards, and it's really confusing to remember all of them. Always freaking out.
Heading rapturing.
So the next thing, hey, let's not fuck around too much because then we'll be bored. So the next thing over here is, does anyone know what this building right here is? But which red truck building?
What?
West.
What?
I mean east. East.
Got it. East. Yeah, there we go. So you'll hear a lot of, never eat soggy wieners.
Soggy wieners? What?
Never eat shredded wheat clockwise.
There we go.
No, I get that. I get that this is still the north side of the map, kind of.
So this is really key because often, guys,
You should move
often
everyone.
people will be taking. Well, people are almost always going through the red truck buildings because there's a spawn up there and there's a spawn up there. So you're always getting into these red truck buildings to like watch for people over there. If you're attacking the objective, which we'll talk about in a bit down there, it's really important to be able to watch out for guys in this second floor and this first floor. So these two buildings are probably the biggest callouts, other than the middle hotel and the north hotel in the game. Or at least on this level. All right, let's keep running. Now,
With this game with the Pimax, I get some clipping on the edge of my vision where chunks.
oh, you dirty bastard with your Pimax.
Oh, really? Yeah, I have the Pimax. I haven't tried trying to make a building disappear and seeing if I can see the person inside of it at the corner of my vision.
Oh, that's
I haven't
some
tried
good
that
cheating.
yet, but I don't think it works.
So again, what is this building right here?
White car building.
That's
Yeah,
a
you're
white
right.
car building.
Love it. Now there's two towers.
North Watch.
Yeah. North Guard. There's two of these buildings.
Watch is also true.
Overwatch?
Oh no. The Watch is actually a building up there.
So North Guard.
So that's North Guard, and that's why I don't like using those terms because they're too confusing. There's two of these buildings in There's two of these buildings in here. In the old game, before they changed, so there's randomized spawns. The Marsoc always spawned over there, and the Volk spawned here. So this is Volk Tower, but it's also called North Tower as well.
Old Tower, North Tower.
You forgot your helmet. You don't have a helmet.
I really wish they would put the occlusion mapping because otherwise it just gets really weird when you get up close to it.
Don't look at it.
It does. They look so
Yeah.
trippy.
I mean, that's a pretty good
it's
map. All right.
Kind of works actually.
So the next place that we have is this is a very important building because one of the objectives is at it. And we'll talk about objectives after because we're going to run around. But this is called the HQ, OBJ HQ, also Heli 2-story. I like to use Heli 2-story because the helicopter's there and the 2-story is here. People will always be camped out in these often be camped out in those two windows or in here. There's a really good spot as well. Even hiding here. Lots of good spots in here. This is a very key thing. Next one is, does anyone know what this one is? Slap that.
West Bungalow.
West Bungalow. He said
That is right, but it's also Heli Bungalow.
Heli Bungalow.
I prefer,
so Heli
the
Bungalow?
object association because directions is also kind of confusing.
Exactly. That's why I like to use it. So actually, if you look over there, hey, you want to come over with us? Random dude wandering around? I think he might know where we are. Or she.
No, we need to
So-
put more shots in the air.
The other thing is, the other really key call out here is the heli sandbags. The heli sandbags are right over there. You can usually rush to get them from certain objectives, and they're pretty key. And it's good because when you're over there as both, you can usually hear people coming up, and you can stay really low and get some good killing going on. Just as a recap, what is this building right there?
Center Hotel.
Center Hotel.
Boom. And Center Hotel is a very important landmark because you can get on the roof. Alrighty.
Weird ass
Trying to go over here.
thing happening.
This area is the West Road, so it's often like a place that you move along. This is Ice Cream Truck.
Someone spawning here and someone spawning on the other side.
Exactly. So that's Ice Cream Truck. That's a pretty good call out because it's easy to remember. So usually a person's behind an ice cream truck.
Even though
Yeah, for some reason it's an ice cream truck. I guess they wanted to make it nice. This is another one of the buildings here. Now this is North Watch because it's watching over most of the map. There's also another South Watch all the way over here, and this is an important one because you can actually go in what is called the dark room. So this is actually a dark room because it used to be very dark before they put these lights in to balance out the level a bit.
Yeah, when
So
you're
this is dark room?
when you're black on black and you're basically invisible.
Exactly. So this is called dark room, and in these buildings as well, guys. In these buildings as well, this is always called the dark room. So this is a two-story building, like that. Every one of these two-story buildings has a dark room in it, and this is always considered the dark room.
Are all the floors slanted or is it just me?
Yeah, this whole building's blended.
They're slanted.
All right, cool.
Just you, Danny.
That's what I thought. Fucker. Oh,
Oh,
Landed
yeah.
into someone.
And so one of the objectives is, or one of the spots over here. All right,
Did you
so
say ew?
moving along.
ew.
Again, this is West Truck and sort of like the west approach. If you want to call out people on like the West Road, you say West Road behind the rock barriers, and they'll usually be able to spot it. I don't think anyone really uses this white car as a spawning thing. I haven't heard it in forever. Another really important, actually, can anyone tell me what that building is?
This one?
Yeah.
Is that the brothel?
Don't guess it. Yeah, you got it. Brothel. Boom.
Why? Why?
I think it's because of the sheets in the front, and so then everyone would thought it would be funny to call it the brothel.
No?
That's what it's called. So the
You said
brothel.
church earlier. Is that the church?
So that is the
Church right over here.
that's
Oh,
the
that's
South
the
Church.
Okay.
That's the South Church, and you can tell it's a church because it's got like a little chapel in there, and it's got this weird roof top thing here.
Yeah.
Up there is the garages. That's the West garages. Up there.
Why are those ones called garages and the ones down there are stables?
Well, stables are garages.
Stables
both of
are
them
garages,
work.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, either way.
These were all kind of made up by random players. So, so that's the church.
That's
That's
Sniper
the
Tower?
Sniper Tower.
Which
Yeah.
is
I
not
haven't
usable?
seen a lot of people go up there because it takes a while to get up there and usually get killed. But I have seen some people sneak up there. This is Crater Truck.
Oh yeah, you get killed going up.
Yeah.
Crater
Unless-
truck. Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah, because it's a red truck, but it's a crater. Does anyone know what this building is?
This is Volk Hotel.
I've not heard it called that. I usually call it the South HQ.
Objective Hotel? I don't know.
Or this is actually the best one. Is this is called Lower Dumpster, and that's Upper Dumpster because of this dumpster. So it used to be called South HQ and South Guard, but now this has really become dumpsters. So this is Lower Dumpster, Upper Dumpster. You can tell it because Lower Dumpster is lower down, Upper Dumpster is upper.
They're usually so good about hitboxes, but this hitbox is
you
not.
go. Yeah, it's not good. You guys are flipping a bit. Up and up in. Does anyone know what this building now is up here?
South
Is that the South Watch?
South Hotel, South Watch, South
Southwatch. Yeah,
Southwatch.
Southwatch. Remember there's hotel. There's only two hotels: Middle Hotel, North Hotel. The Southwatch is the same as those other buildings. That one. Guess what it is?
That's Watt Building.
Boom. White House. Yeah, you got it. All right. So that's White House. Great. We got that. Again, what is this?
North Dumpster, Upper Dumpster,
There we
Upper
go.
Dumpster.
Now, again, there's these different models in the game. What is this?
Humvee? No?
Yep, you got it. And then what's over there with the
All-terrain
APC?
Venomon?
So it's APC. Those are pretty good callouts. Now these ones have a bunch of names for them, but usually they're called the Twins or the Marsoc Twins or the Marsoc Towers, because Marsoc used to spawn over where that convoy is. Some often places people will be camping out in is in Marsoc Twin north. This is a very good spot to be at because you can see everything, and if you keep really quiet, people will run behind you. You can hear them running up and just pop them when they're coming through. This is again the dark room. All of these buildings have their own name, or their own, all the same buildings have locations with them. So for this building, does anyone know what the bottom part is?
Cellar.
Other.
The
Dark room.
You really like answering here, don't you? Basement, yes, so it's called basement. And this will be second story. And then basically, usually when you're shooting at someone on this and people are calling you out, you'll say Marsoc Twin Towers, right window, left window, that kind of stuff.
ooh, goodies.
More importantly, north, south.
Come on.
Exactly.
Out of the way, Danny.
All right, come up to the rocks over here.
Did you steal my grenade? No, that's mine. That's mine.
Somebody
All right.
sucks.
These are called the Sniper Rocks, or Arsenic's Rocks, named after Arsenic because he loves sniping from here. That's about it. Does anyone know what these things down here are called? You got it. So we've got the valley. We've got the, I think it's called the West Valley and then the Center Valley. But usually it's like Far Valley, Close Valley. There's some other callouts. I think that's enough callouts. Can anyone guess what this thing is called?
Marsoc Tower.
Yeah, you got it. Or South Tower? Yeah, South Tower. Usually Marsoc Tower though. So this is the Marsoc area because those convoys are over there. That's a tank building
You'll never
or
really
bungalow.
see anyone on the tank.
No, I mean you usually come up to like get around to there. All right, let us run to the other side of the map, and then we're gonna just randomly call out some buildings. So let's run through here, and I'll point at buildings. You can tell me what they are. Okay, I'm going to the Humvee.
Hey, don't shoot me.
Yeah, no shooting. Let's not shoot anyone. All right, what's this building?
Center bungalow.
Boom.
South
got it.
bungalow.
Center.
South, or center or south.
Good follow-up. What's this building?
North bungalow.
I think that's actually center bungalow.
Oh my god.
I think that there's no. Yeah, you might be right about that. Yeah, I'm not very good on those ones.
Okay, wait. So yeah, this is
There's-
center.
This is center.
Center?
I think that is center. Let me just check my notes for a second.
No, you're right. There's south.
I think I did it wrong.
You guys get rings around your vision when you get bullets landing near you. I get like a mask around my vision, like it because it is the larger portion of your outer vision. But only when they land here.
Yeah, you guys are right. All right. All right. So yeah, you're right. That is south bungalow, center bungalow. The one right there is north bungalow, and then that's crater bungalow. That's good. I've been screwing that up, so it explains why I keep getting killed from there. All right. Let's see. What is this building here?
Something hotel.
Don't try and
No,
guess.
that's
Just call
white
it.
truck.
White car hotel. White car. No,
Remember,
the
okay. Cause Danny, just you're gonna confuse people if you keep just guessing. So what is that up there? Only answer if you're 100% sure.
North Hotel.
There, that's North Hotel. Remember those buildings that have 3 levels and like floors and shit are the hotels.
okay.
Over there, which one is that? That is this one right here. You can tell there's a thing that references it right down there.
Oh, the helicopter?
Yeah, so that's
Helicopter.
two-story, heli two-story. It's also called the objective building, and it also is called the North Guard, or sorry, North HQ. But I'm gonna go with heli bungalow because, heli two-story, because you know that the helicopter's there, and there's only one two-story that's close to it. What is this big thing over here?
The red truck.
Yay! And then what would that be then?
North Villa.
Nope.
This one right here?
This one right here.
Yeah, red truck.
Red truck.
East. Yeah, you got
red
it.
truck.
And then west red truck. And then actually, I hadn't gone over that one over here, but that one where the spawn is, that's North Villa. I don't know why it's called North Villa, but it's called North Villa.
Fancy.
So we just call it like
Cool.
hotel because it has 3 stories.
It's got all
It
plans.
does not have 3 stories. It has 2 accessible stories.
Yeah, it's also the same as this building, but it has a rock wall. I guess that's why it's called the Villa. All right, I think that's enough call-outs because everyone will start getting bored. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about some defense on... We're going to talk about some defense. What is that one? The guy that's shooting? What is that called?
The white car watch.
White car building. That's good enough.
Other like North Wall.
Trader. It's often called Trader.
All right. Okay. Actually, sorry, I ran too far. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a few objectives, and then we'll go play
Wait,
responsibly.
who said crater? Because that is not over here. Crater is that direction.
Yeah. So there's a big crater on the other side. That's a crater. This is white.
Crater's over
It's
there.
just because Killender's map that he posted labeled
Jesus.
that as creative building. That's why it's confusing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, fuck Killinger.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, definitely. He is only
Why
second in
don't
the
we
world.
just learn through feel? Why do we need
I
maps
just use the ones that
posted?
are used in North America, so don't want those dirty UK. So, anyways, there is an objective right here. It's called the house objective. Anyways, that's the first objective, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about where we spawn and where the possible spawn points are for the Marsoc. So if you run around the corner here,
Yeah, it's right.
when we've got this objective, the spawn area is right around here for Volk. So there's a few things that you want to think about when you're spawning on this objective. One is there's 3 spawn locations. One spawn location is up in the villa, right up there, and it's just right on the back. We can run over there in a bit. The next spawn is in like the middle area, and then there's a final spawn a little bit further down behind the Marsoc twins. So whenever you spawn into this one, there's 2 options that you can do. Basically, you're always looking to see if anyone is coming that way, and then what you're trying to do is either if there's no one over there, what you want to do is try and fan out there, but if there is someone over there, you don't want to be standing out here. You probably have gotten killed right here because they will pop over the hill. You can barely hit them because it's just their head, and you're at black against the ground, you just get completely sniped off. So the few places that you usually want to defend from, especially when they spawn up there, is there's always someone that wants to be in the basement and guarding the basement or the back. Because if you guys come in here, you can actually cap this objective from the basement. So you can actually pull your tablet out and cap from the basement. Can't see it. Yeah, right in that corner. Yeah, so that's on purpose, and the reason is because you have to be defending it too. So usually when I'm doing defense, I'll have a person in this area right here watching this, although this is fairly dangerous because they will shoot the shit out of you. But that's a good spot, and you're kind of rotating back and making sure no one comes in the basement. Rotating around.
And a good way to guard the objective as well is white car building.
Yes, that's a good place to guard the objective, but again, if there's people up on the ridge, you're going to get screwed over. Another good spot to do is go in like the Suki building, and then sort of be up here and watching the approaches. The thing is, when you're up on these, in these buildings, they can see you, sort of, so you want to just kind of peek out, and you don't want to stick your whole face out. You can also do that as well. So this is one defensive spot that people will take. to sort of guard the back. I almost never do that. I usually go to the other side. But when you're on this position, you're effectively not worrying about like getting long shots or anything. You're worried about watching that back part so that no one runs in and caps on you.
You're watching in the red truck lane.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Are there any questions about that sort of place? There's more dangerous spots to play. You can play in there. There's also like, I've seen people play here because you can get really low and see everything but not get shot very easily.
How many
So-
people at a time do you have watching objective?
Pardon me?
How many people at a time do you have watching objective usually?
Usually on this level, you'll have someone from the back watching the objective. You'll have someone on the objective in either the back here or the other one is in the dark room on the objective. So the objective is here. And you can have someone sitting in here. If I was to sit in this objective, I would probably sit about here. And I'm watching to make sure that if anyone runs around, I can cap them or I can kill them because they can't run through those that fence right there. They have to run around. So effectively, if you're here, you're good to go. The next really common spot, defending this objective, which is important because when remember how people will spawn up on the top. What I'll do is I'll come around this side and I'll keep that whole area blocked off as I'm running around because they cannot actually get to see me by the time I get here. And this is a huge spot for defending the back of the objective because you can see the objective, you can see anyone coming down here, you can hear people coming into the West Red Truck. So that's like a place that you'll probably always see someone, and it's also good because you can defend coming through that other area. And then, once you know that people are not there or they are like hiding in the North Hotel, I'll usually pop around here and come into this basement. And then in this basement, you got even more cover. You can hear them coming, and you can set up your little tablet, put it down there, and then you can guard. It's a pretty boring spot, but you usually kill some people. Because what they'll do is they'll be running out of time, they'll run down here, you just pop around and shoot them as they come by. Any questions about that objective part? Running. Am I going too fast for anyone? I assume it. All you guys saw it. Another spot to get to is here. So when you spawn, if you're fast enough, you can get up to right about here, and then you just go real low. And what you'll do is if they're going to rush from the north, you'll be able to hear them coming through. They'll usually come up to the center. They'll usually come up to the center bungalow, and you can hear them kind of talking about that, and they'll just be sneaking right there. You just sort of wait until they come around.
They can jump this, can't they?
Pardon me? Yes, they can jump over that. But I mean, the other thing is if someone's running down, you're going to hear them.
What? How?
Because that's not how the wire works, but whatever. Yeah, but the issue is that if they want to get over there and shoot you, they're going to have to run down. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You haven't run over razor wire?
Jesus. The motion smoothing and the new Steam VR update.
And then, with that objective, the last kind of place that you probably will get to, I've seen some people at the helicopter, but I don't use it that much, is in the hotel, center hotel. So this is bottom center hotel. So if someone's in the bottom center hotel, they're either in this room or in that room over there. I'm assuming you guys are sort of familiar with the center hotel. There's the way to get up to the second floor is you go back here. And here is a really important place to defend a bunch of objectives from. It's very hard to see you in this if you're Volk, so I'll usually sit here and be very low if you want to slide a little bit out of the way. You slide a little bit. You can see people running along the back there. They'll usually run, like you'll see them run around the corner and you can see them come there. You can also pop out here and you can barely be seen. And if you get up here, you can watch that rock bank. right there. So for this, what I would do is if I was defending that objective that we're talking about, I would sit here and be very quiet until I hear them coming up. They'll probably start talking while they're around you, and you're just sitting here and waiting for them to come around the corner and you shoot them. This one takes a lot of patience, but if you can do it, it's great because they'll fall down. Sometimes they won't even check this and they'll run up with their back to your turn and you just shoot them in the back. If you're getting callouts and you know where things are at the center bungalow, you can come around here. This is a really dangerous room just because it's so bright. It's really easy to get shot at, and you can jump out the window if you really want to. We're gonna jump out the window. I'm pretty sure you can do that in the game. I didn't realize that you could do that until I started talking. All right, do you guys have any questions about the defense on that objective? I did it perfectly? Great.
Are we
As
going to go
for...
over this with every single objective? Because that takes a lot of time.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna do one more, like, I guess, like, a good thing would be to do approaches throughout the map. So we can just sort of go from each spawn point and sort of talk about the approaches that you can do. Does anyone know what that building is?
Crater Bungalow?
Crater Bungalow is back there. That's North Bungalow.
North. All right.
Yeah, nailed it. And what is this one called again?
This is the bushy bungalow. This is some of the flowers.
The Villa Bungalow.
Oh, yeah.
Said villa.
It's not the 3 stories. Yeah,
It's
the
called
one with the
Villa.
stone wall.
So, you'll notice that you appear here a
So
lot.
basically, North Marsock spawn.
Yeah, that works as well. North Marsock spawns also like over there because you can spawn over there. So this is the North Villa spawn. It's probably the most common one. It seems to happen a lot more than the other ones. You get spawned here. There's a few objectives. That objective that we talked about, you can get spawned here. Also the helicopter objective, which is at the heli bungalow. Now, a couple approaches from here is there's 3. There's basically going through the North Hotel down there. We won't do that one. There's going up the middle, and then there's also the long sweep around. And I think we'll do the long sweep so you can see sort of what you're doing. Now, with the long sweep, it's really important that you keep a little bit back here because you can actually be spotted quite easily through this. So if I go up here, I'm going to be silhouetted against the backdrop. I'm going to get capped really easily. So I'm running right here. I'm going to get shot because you can see down, like they will spawn down here, and you're going to get shot real fast coming here. So what I like to do is I like to go back quite a bit, go here. Yeah, like you'll get shot so easily there, and they're looking for you to run around. And it's better to not try and get some caps at the start because you need to get close because your aim's not as good as these fucking crazy league players. So this is called the crater movement. You're just effectively moving around the map. Once you play enough, you'll realize how far people can get. And depending on the objective, they can get, there's only one objective where they can really get pretty close. But when you're doing this crater thing, you're effectively just keeping your head below this ridge here, the eastern ridge, which is on the top here, until you get about here. And then you're watching for people in the twins up at the top there. So like, once you get to the tank, you usually start watching around and trying to figure out who you can cap off. The places people will be sitting are usually in the twins, the north twin, watching the north side. Although I think people are doing that less and less now because they're just waiting for people to come into kill zones. The places you want to watch for people killing you from is up here. This is where if someone gets up here, they'll be able to watch your approach and shoot everyone. So those are the places you want to watch for. You also want to watch like the valley. Sometimes people will come around the valley, but it doesn't happen that much. And then getting up to this north approach. Someone just join us. Yeah, someone dropped. Getting up to this north approach, there's a couple ways that you can go. You can either go close, get in here. The problem is here you're pretty exposed and people are going to call your position out. Or you can go around here and go down through the valley. So here you want to watch for fall damage by just kind of skirting the edge. Then once you get to about this position, this is where you get to a danger spot. There's two places that they can pick you off from. The south watch, which is not as common as the other one, so like right there. South watch, and then the other one that's huge is this north watch right here. So you're going to be wanting to watch the north watch, or sorry, the white house, right in that building right there. That's where someone will be more often than not watching that approach. The best way to get around through that is to have one person suppress it and then the other person run up, but that's a lot more confusing. One thing to note is that you can be seen right here from the top of the hotel. So it's kind of hard to see, but like right here.
All right, that sucked. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you gotta practice that. So you can be seen from the hotel. So just keep in mind that you might start getting shot at here. That'd be a lag fucking fest. Cool. Then we keep approaching right here. So this is where you have to clear out that white building. Usually, if your other players are coming from the other side. This is a pretty effective place to peek out and see everything, because only your head is appearing, so it's very hard to shoot you, unless you're super, super good. I mean, in the Rookie League, I don't think anyone's going to be able to hit you here. But here you can peek out, and you're watching for any sort of, like, you're making sure to keep your head low, and you're watching for people in the dumpster buildings, you're watching for a person in the heli bungalow, you're watching for a person over there in the bungalows over there, the center bungalow or the south bungalow. I'm out of ammo now. And this is just where you're popping up and you're trying to get callouts. Good. I mean, that will give me a lot of ammo, so I appreciate it. Other things is like if you want to approach this side, you're trying to get over here to either approach and move up to like get a cap, or to get into that building to sort of call out people and do stuff there. Alrighty. What else is going on? Yeah, so then there's a few more things. There's two objectives. There's an objective right here. This is called Upper Dumpster Objective or something. Don't really have the name. For this objective, there's usually someone in this building, or in this room, watching this approach. And so when you're coming up here, if you usually want to swing around and clear that before capping. You can cap from right in here, in this corner up here. So that's got pretty good coverage. And you can also cap from here. So like if you know someone's in there and they're being a fucking idiot, you can go real low and actually cap from there. Yeah. The other objective over here.
But you have to like you have to get your tablet out before you get near them.
Yeah, exactly. They'll hear you. That's why you got to do sneaky caps. The other objective is right here. There's sometimes someone in the dark room, but more often than not, there'll be someone in the second floor story. This is a really dangerous window because they can see you through that window, but it's very hard to see them through all of this shit. It like blocks you from being able to be seen. So often people will shoot you from there. Still be approaching now. Yeah, it's pretty good.
From the basement?
Yes. Yeah. So that's another thing, talking about capping basements. This one, when you're defending this one, you want to be watching the front. So you either want to have someone up on the edge right there, looking this way, or you want to have someone guarding the basement, because you can again cap from the basements. Yeah, so anyways, you can cap from the basement. So that's why we're talking about, like, when you're in a game, watching the front and back is super duper important. And if you are the last person up, it's more important to run around and try and check to see if people are going in the front or the back than getting killed. Because again, getting capped on is worse than getting killed. So you only lose 1 point as opposed to 2, and you possibly could kill a person. When you're on these objectives, I gotta go to another one.
I'm petting the dog.
When you're, oh, he just died. Yeah, so the main thing is like do not get capped on this level because this level is a slightly advantage to the Volk as long as you can suppress everyone and keep them from finishing in 6 minutes. Cool. I think there's one more objective that we'll talk about, and then maybe we'll jump into a pub or into a. I guess we have enough people. We just have it 4-on-4 or something. The last objective that I think we're talking about today is the heli. What's it called? Heli bungalow objective. So right about here. Places you can cap from are you can actually crawl up and cap from here. That's something you'll see sneaky caps, especially if people are like hiding too low. You can't actually see them, and you're just like guarding for people, and you suddenly the uplink will be failed. You'll feel like shit because you just could have popped up and shot them. Yeah, you can cap from back here. So you can cap basically here, and you can cap on that hill over there. I think you can cap from about here.
What's the max distance on a cap?
It depends on the level, but it's usually about this distance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Effectively, I mean, the best thing to do would just to be run around and show you exactly where you can cap from. I'll probably release maps with all the radius to get capped on. And then for defense here, is, I think we've been talking about it, there's a good defense spot in there. Good defense spot in Brothel looking over the objective here. Usually have someone on the objective right here. And then usually a couple people a little bit further out. Because the objective, or the important thing about the downfall objectives, you usually want to have 3 people really close and then 2 sort of a little bit further out to make sure that no one comes in and like flanks you down. And then you don't want to have a bunch of people rush up, take the objective, and then have those 2 people really far out. So you want to watch your lane and make sure that you kill people. What else can we talk about? You guys have any questions? I'm pretty much done from like what I can think of. My word vomit about Downfall.
I'm good.
Cool.
Fun? Yeah.
How many people do we have? 1, 2.
There's one more over there. He's petting his dog.
Oh, nice.
And I don't mean that in a rhetorical sense.
Oh, fair enough.
Petting his dog.
Yeah, oh, another thing is you can't go inside that helicopter, you'll burn alive. You used to be able to.
I tried that one. I died.
Not good, not good. Yeah, and so especially with when you're defending this level, the most important thing is callouts, and also when you're attacking this level, the most important thing are callouts, and sort of getting used to which ways you can move through the level, and that's just like practice. When we do when we play in the next round, we can just sort of go over that, or we can just like practice going over that. But like you're trying, you know where all the buildings are, and you're trying to keep as little line of sight from those buildings as possible. So like when you're approaching from this spawn, you want to be keeping as much shit in between you and where you know the object or the enemy is as much as possible. So like often go up there. If you're walking lackadaisically over here and you know there's people in the white building, you're just gonna get shot. Sweet.
What was that word you said?
Lackadaisical. I mean, it might have made it up.
Lackadaisical?
That sounds a bit better. I think that's what the actual word is, but I just made it.
Lackadaisical. Lackadaisical is the official word.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not a wordsmith. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm gonna start a Downfall 1, and we'll play that. And 1812 is the same password. This is where I started.